What is up, guys? Welcome back to another video. A little bit of a different setting today. We are actually at my grandparents' house right now. They're down in Florida for the winter. I'm here quarantining, or whatever you want to call it, before heading home for Christmas. But we have a little project on this extremely frigid 20-degree day, so figured it was a good time to do some vinyl wrapping. This is kind of a popular video I've done in the past. I've done like 2 or 3 videos on vinyl wrapping, and a lot of you guys have seemed to enjoy it, so I figured, what the heck, let's film this process as well. I know you're probably intrigued. What do I have here? Well, let's take a seat on the couch and I'll show you exactly that. I figure these 2 folding chairs will make a good little table of sorts for us to work on, but let's see. First and foremost, start with the slightly less exciting Aero piece, which is our side skirt extensions. I could not believe, I thought I was only sent one of them, but both of them come in this tiny little box. They look kind of sick. This isn't a red accent. It looks like one and it looks dope, but that's actually 3M tape from the looks of it. Pull one out here, and there she is. You can tell which end goes in the front and which end goes in the rear, because the front will just be completely straight here, all the way down to the point, and then the rear will have this little diagonal piece, and you'll see why. But yeah, I'm impressed with like how smooth the finish is. It's kind of the biggest concern when wrapping something that isn't fully painted with clear coat is the surface going to be smooth enough? Is it going to actually grab to it? I think this is going to grab pretty well. Might have to do just a little bit of trimming along the edge, because it looks like we have a tiny little bit of plastic left over from the mold that I might want to take off with like a blade of sorts. I'm also noticing, quite a bit of stuff on my hands here that has come off from this plastic piece, which means we're gonna have to do a really good cleaning, otherwise it's not gonna stick to my point there. So we're gonna wanna give this a really thorough wiping with some isopropyl alcohol. All right, moving on. Very exciting. Oh yeah, front lip time, baby. That's what I'm talking about. The car has needed a front lip for a while, and I've actually had this since I got the body kit, I believe. I was kind of waiting on a carbon version of this, but I thought about it and I was like, well, do I even want to install a $400 replica lip, or do I want to just install like the $80 plastic one with some vinyl carbon wrap on it? And if I toast it, I can go get 4 more of them. So that was pretty easy logic for me. I'm interested to see how well of a job we can do with just some vinyl wrap off of Amazon. And on that note, let's jump into the final box here. It kind of sketches me out that there's no paper packaging in this box. Nevertheless, it seems to have arrived in one piece. I went with the Vivid Epoxy High Gloss black carbon fiber. Give you a little sneak peek of the roll here. I don't know how well it's gonna catch the light. A little hard to see on camera, but I'm liking the way that the weave looks on this. And for those of you who are concerned about this part, this film actually has a protective cap over it, meaning that, if I can separate it here, you can see there's a layer on top of the actual top layer there. When we're done, we're gonna peel this top layer off, and all of our application scratches from squeegeeing out the air and whatnot, that'll all be gone, and we'll just have a nice seamless, scratchless finish. Hopefully this doesn't impair the installation too much. I'm excited to see how it turns out. Minutes into our first side skirt extension here. Things are coming along really nicely, as you can see here, but my trick for the hard edges, as you can see, I've rounded this hard edge right here, and vinyl doesn't really like to go around hard edges, so I kind of take it one plane at a time. So I did this one flat surface, I got all the air out of it. Then I did this slightly slanted surface right here. Then I focused on this tiny little sliver right here, just making sure that I have it nice and flat, no air bubbles in any of the seams. And then finally, after doing this edge right here, I brought it around to this edge and I pressed down on this edge, applying heat throughout the entire process as to make sure everything's staying nice and flexible. I will note that this material feels a bit more stiff compared to the Avery Dennison that I wrapped my car in, and it takes a little bit more heat to get it flexible like that. But down at the end here, I was able to stretch things out just a little bit to make that corner so that we didn't have any gaps. So I was able to stretch the material a decent amount, like, I don't know, maybe a little ½ inch there. I'm working on the end, making this corner round, and I still have to fold over the edges all the way back this way. I do think it's helpful to start this process I was talking about dead in the middle of the piece that you're working on, and then work out to either end. Otherwise, you're going to be pushing a bunch of slack to one end and things tend to bunch up then. And I did get rid of a bunch of excess on this side, and there's actually a nice little groove right here that maybe, yeah, this card will catch it, as you can see. But you can run your blade down that groove to make that cut, exposing our 3M tape, which is going to be important for mounting. And yeah. Alright folks, we're back the next day and I'm very excited to announce to you that we're all done wrapping the side skirts here. Things are looking gorgeous. Let me try to catch the light for you here. Oh yeah, there it is. Look at that. I am stoked with how these are looking. Crazy impressive. The Vivid Epoxy Gloss Clear carbon fiber vinyl here. Thing is looking awesome, but it's now time to try the same thing on a front lip. This is definitely gonna be a little bit of a challenge with all of these hard corners, recesses. This little support here in the center is definitely gonna be fun to work around, but definitely not a challenge I'm not willing to take on. I know this place looks like a mess, and Pup will have it cleaned up for you, don't you worry. But let's get started on this front lip here. Alright, so I just applied a little bit of heat just to start forming things into place, and as I pointed out, we have 1, 2, 3 problem areas that are under a lot of stress, as you can see right here and right here. So what I'm now gonna do is make some relief cuts, a wedge, like a 90-degree wedge that we pull out. That's gonna allow us to manipulate independent sections of the vinyl. So that's what I'm gonna do now. I'm probably gonna have to do a couple relief cuts right in the corner here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Might have to do some in the center, but yeah. Cut myself a new piece of vinyl because I needed a little bit of extra down on the end, so I cut myself a new piece with some wings down on the end that can extend out because I saw myself running out of material and that last piece actually wasn't going to work out. But we have our new piece here, cut to size, should work out. I'm repeating the same process over here. Relief cuts. stoked, with the exception of the front edge here, which is going to be a breeze, hopefully, knock on wood. The whole driver's side of the front lip is complete. Still have to finish off the end here, of course, but as you can see, this edge is all wrapped around. And this edge was actually quite easy because you can just drag your blade right along it. And there's a little bit of overlap, so you're safe there. Laid our vinyl into this little recess right here, brought it around the edge. And that's probably the biggest key, I would say, when vinyl wrapping. Just think about singular planes. So this is one plane, we got that done. I made my relief cut, and then I shifted to this plane, got that done. And then we tackled this little obstacle right here in the middle, which actually came out pretty good. I'm quite impressed. The only thing I would advise you to do, you guys saw me, I started on either side like this, and I think that set me up for a little bit of a failure right here. I have a tiny bit of wrinkling right there, kind of annoying. And then the only other thing is, I got like tiny little speck of dust under here, and it made an air bubble, and I tried to go back and get rid of it, and I just made things worse, so just don't even try most of the time. But yeah, right here, just apply heat and slowly work the material in. But as you can see, I got it all the way down. That kind of sums up how to do this side. Nothing too crazy. Drag your edge along the back edge here. And the nice thing is, any little stuff right here you probably won't be seeing because it's just set back from the front. But I'm pretty stoked with how this is looking. Check in with you guys once I'm getting towards the end. Alright, took care of the registration on the $500 X3 and a couple other things today. Got back at it, it's nighttime now, and I'm just about done, but I wanted to show you guys this really quickly because I had the thought while I was working. This is the underside, and you'll notice it doesn't look very pretty right now at all. I want to show you two very important things. The first is a mistake I made right here. You can see I almost didn't have enough material right here to wrap around the bottom edge because I hastily trimmed away some material that I actually needed. Thought I didn't because it didn't look like it, but once you start going around edges and curves, you're gonna need material in places you didn't expect it. So the lesson learned there is don't prematurely trim material away. Yes, it's annoying while it's in the way, but you can always trim it away later. You cannot put material back. Second lesson, to be learned here, you don't have to be incredibly meticulous about places that you're not going to see, especially because I'm about to take my blade and go right along this edge right here, because we don't need this at all. In fact, it would probably be a hindrance if I were to wrap the whole bottom, because then it would just get scratched off and look gross whenever I hit a speed bump or a small child in the road. I don't know. Alrighty, maybe 2 or 3 minutes later, all of this excess is trimmed away, and now we are left with this really nice clean edge all the way around. So all that excess is gone. We flip it over, and as you can see, love the way the light catches it. Even that centerpiece, as you can see, it's a little wonky. Not bad. And all the way around. So we now have a gloss carbon fiber looking front lip here for the cost of a plastic one, plus a little bit of vinyl and our time. So here we have all three of our Aero pieces wrapped in vivid epoxy gloss carbon fiber. Again, here are our beautiful side skirts. Really stoked with how clean these lines came out. The edges look great. I didn't get a lot of air bubbles in the side skirts, which I'm really excited about. Moving on to the front lip here, I love how the carbon looks at all these different angles. It has a bunch of different curvatures, and I'm also really happy with the direction of my carbon fiber weave, which is something you will want to take note of before you start wrapping, is the direction of this. Because I'm really happy that it's at a 90-degree angle. If it was just straight on or straight across, it might look a little bit weird. That same thing goes for the side skirts, or really any any Aero piece or even interior piece that you're wrapping. But yeah, I'm also really stoked to finally have a front lip for the car. Super stoked to get this stuff on there. One last thing I forgot to mention that's really important when wrapping anything in vinyl wrap, whether it's interior pieces, exterior pieces, or an entire car, you really want to make sure you do a good job of post heating, especially in recessed areas like this in the center, and around hard corners and whatnot. Now, I'm not sure what the post heat temperature is for Vivid. I know for Avery Dennison it's about 185 degrees Fahrenheit, 195. I'll probably heat this to about 195, and you'll just want to go through all the little curvatures, recesses, and just make sure you thoroughly heat them until they reach post heat temperature. That way you're not gonna have any lifting, bubbling, or any of that nonsense. I know that's the last thing you wanna hear after spending hours wrapping. And trust me, I didn't want to post heat my car after wrapping it, but I put in the time and it was definitely worth it because I haven't had a single panel or anything bubble, lift at all on the car. So take your time and it'll pay off. I'm about to post heat mine right now. I've yet to do that, but I think I'm gonna wrap up the video here. I know I've made a lot of wrap videos and I hope this one isn't too repetitive. I just thought it was something different. Not a lot of people have been trying to wrap Aero accessories like front lips and side skirt extensions. So it's a cheap alternative to buying the real thing. I think it's like a $400 or $500 full carbon fiber lip for my M3 style bumper. And this was like 120, 150. So obviously very attractive price wise. You guys obviously know that. And I also just wanted to take on the challenge of wrapping out of my natural habitat, and I think this video goes to show if I can wrap in my grandparents' house with minimal tools and minimal workspace, you can definitely do it yourself at home. Just take your time, be patient, don't get too frustrated, know that you can restart if you need to, and yeah, just be patient. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. If you did, please go leave a like down below. Subscribe if you want to see me install this stuff on my car and see how it actually looks in the light of day. It's starting to look like a ghost right now, and I'm sure this fluorescent lighting doesn't help, but this is my cue to sign off. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time on JD Cars.